Hi there everyone, it's Felix, your friendly neighborhood guitarist. Today I wanted to answer one of the most common questions I get as a guitar teacher from beginners coming to me for contemporary guitar lessons, and that is, what sort of guitar should I get to start off with? In this video, I want to take you through my recommendations for your first guitar and a rough progression of guitar purchases as you develop. Yes, I said purchases plural because the reality is you're likely going to want to purchase the right guitar for your level of playing as you improve and progress with the instrument. Special thanks to Junction Camberwell for loaning me the guitars I use for this video. They are my local music shop and I spend a lot of time there perusing and reviewing guitars for students to purchase. You can get any one of the guitars in the videos from them and more, pretty much all your musical needs. A link to their website with the current prices of the guitars that I'm going to be talking about here will be in the description below. Let them know that you saw this video and they'll take good care of you. All right. What kind of guitar are we talking about? It's important to clarify that we're talking about looking for a guitar for contemporary guitar playing as opposed to classical guitar. Now, contemporary guitar is essentially every other guitar style other than classical. That's a very broad definition and unfortunately not a very useful one. You may be looking to play folk or pop songs to accompany your singing, play rock guitar, shred on metal tunes, or even study jazz. And there's a different guitar type or style for every one of those styles of music. So it's a very, very, very broad area. However, when starting out, especially on your first guitar, when starting out, you want to find a guitar that will help with your learning process progressively. Your needs as a beginning student will be quite different from your needs as an advanced player down the track. Your tastes in guitars will change as you develop. Actually, we would hope that your taste in guitars will change as you develop and progress, because that is the natural progression of a student. When starting out, you'll likely have no idea what sort of guitarist you're going to end up being in a year from now, in 2 years from now. Ideally, you will be purchasing guitars to suit your development progressively. So when first starting out, I think it's important to not go crazy and spend a whole lot of money on a $4,000 guitar. So you're an absolute beginner looking for your very first guitar to play around with to see if you like playing the guitar. For you, I would recommend these sort of guitars. This is a beginner's classical nylon string guitar. This one in particular is a Valencia brand, which you can get down at Music Junction. They stock lots of these. The things I like about this guitar is, one, they're very inexpensive. They're roughly about $100 each just for the guitar. Two, they've got these nylon strings. Now these nylon strings, as opposed to steel strings, are a little softer on your hands and fingers. They're light to the touch and they're not going to stress you out as much when you're first starting off on the guitar. Importantly for children, they also come in various sizes. So you can get half-size guitars or three-quarter size guitars. This one here is a three-quarter size beginner guitar. Now, I generally don't recommend a half-size guitar simply because they get to the point where they're not really playable. They start going out of tune the moment you start pressing down on the strings. So even with very, very young children with small hands, I try to get them onto the three-quarter size straight away and then move on to the full size from there. So the one thing to watch out for with these beginner classical guitars, particularly if you're looking at upgrading to a slightly better one, treat yourself to a $150 or $200 beginner classical guitar, is that often these better quality beginner classical guitars come with much wider necks than these cheaper Valencias. That's because classical guitars want wider string spacing to facilitate their particular style of playing. But as contemporary guitarists, we don't actually want that. What you'll end up wanting to do when you're starting contemporary guitar is to hopefully you'll be progressing rapidly and starting to develop a command of bar chords right up and down the neck, requiring quite a bit of finger strength and stretch. And a wide neck, or neck that's too wide, will make that more difficult to do. I would recommend just going straight for a basic stock Valencia and treating it as a throwaway guitar. I would never really be happy performing with this guitar on stage, and I don't recommend it for a student's longer term development. You really want to be moving on to the next lot of guitars that I'll be showing you in a sec for your medium to long term development. If you work hard, you'll outgrow this guitar as soon as possible, and then use it as a spare guitar to take down to the beach, to jump into the pool with. So we're using this nylon string guitar as a bridging instrument to move on to what we really want to be playing and developing on. A full-size steel string acoustic guitar. Steel string acoustics have metal strings which are a little harder on the fingers and will help develop better hand strength. This is important. Playing regularly on a steel string acoustic guitar with heavier gauge strings, around a gauge 12 or so, will help develop hand strength coordination over the longer term. I don't recommend your first or only steel string guitar be an electric guitar, as they're typically strung with much lighter gauge strings, and this is not going to do you any favors at all. This is also why I want students who are starting out on nylon string guitars to move on to a proper full-size steel string acoustic guitar as soon as they're physically able and ready. I have a range of different steel string acoustic guitars here that I generally recommend to students at various price points. To be clear, depending on your budget, I really think that you want to be looking at the upper end of these price points rather than the lower for the medium to longer term. And use these guitar recommendations I'm giving you as starting points to learn what a guitar might sound like, and then try other acoustic guitars at similar price points in the shop and compare them. Try to start forming your own opinions on what you like, what you don't like. A good gauge is to see how you feel when you're performing with the guitar. I say performing, not playing. When you're down at the shop, it's important to give the guitar a good workout. Don't be shy. Sing, play, strum, do whatever you can. But see how one guitar makes you feel over another. So this is a Cort L100C. It's roughly $389 Australian. Do check the link for current prices, and for prices in your current region, obviously look up the net. This is about as cheap a guitar as I could find that I was happy recommending to students to try out. It has a solid spruce top, which is nice, contributes to the sound. It's basic, so no frills, there's no pickups in it. There's really nothing other than just plain old guitar. It is a smaller body shape, sort of parlory shape, size, curvy. I'll explain that a little more when we see the next guitar. And more importantly, it's playable. You can play right up and down the neck without there being any issues. So, the Cort L100C, perfectly playable guitar, good value for the money. I probably see this as a medium-term guitar rather than a longer-term guitar. If you're on a budget or you can't quite justify moving up to $600 or $700 guitar just yet, this is a good guitar to get off that nylon string guitar to begin with and help you develop that critical finger strength that you need. So the next guitar I want to show you in the next price bracket is also a Chord. It's a Chord MR710F, and retails are roughly in Australian dollars $599. Notably with this guitar, it has a different shape from the L100C. It's what we call a dreadnought shape. You'll notice that it's quite a lot squarer than the L100C, boxy, as opposed to the parlor shape of the L100C. And this does contribute to the sound of the guitar. It's a lot boomier, which is a nice thing. This guitar also has a cutaway to give us access to the higher frets, which is also another nice feature. It comes with a solid spruce top and laminated mahogany back and sides. Overall, the materials on this guitar are much better than the L100C, and that justifies the price difference. It also comes with a hard case already included in the package, so you don't have to buy a separate case for it. And again, notably, it comes with a pickup already built in. So it's got a pickup built into the guitar and a preamp and a jack to plug into a guitar amplifier. Now, there are a couple of caveats with guitar pickups, especially at this price point. A lot of people think they can buy a guitar with a pickup built in, plug it into pretty much anything, and sound great, and away to go. The reality is that there's quite a lot involved in getting a good sound out of an acoustic guitar, and a lot of that comes from having the right equipment, having the right acoustic guitar amplifier, which are not cheap, unfortunately, and the right preamps down the chain to make that pickup sound more natural. So while it's nice to have a built-in pickup, you generally will need quite a lot more gear in order to make full use of that. But having said that, having the flexibility to turn up on stage with the right support behind you, with the right gear behind you, to simply just plug in and go and play and sing is useful to have. So the last guitar I want to show you is probably from my favorite series guitars under $1,000 Australian, and they're the Yamaha L series. This one in particular is the Yamaha LL6. There is also the LS6 and LJ6, which denotes different body shapes. The notable thing about these L series guitars is that they have overall slightly smaller body sizes compared to other steel string acoustics, but are a little bit thicker. The LL6 refers to this particular body shape, which they call the original jumbo size, which is slightly squarier. It's a bit more dreadnoughty than the LS6, which is curvier and smaller in the butt a little bit. Looks a bit more parlor shaped, and has a tighter sound as a consequence. This has a slightly boomier, more open sound. They're both very nice. I'd encourage you to try both to see which one you prefer. If you get the opportunity down at Music Junction, they usually have stock of both. The LJ6 is the jumbo size, which has a bigger shoulder and bigger butt as well. So all around bigger guitar, bigger sound generally. All the LL6s, the LS6 and LJ6s come with a solid spruce top, treated with Yamaha's ARE, acoustic resonant enhancement system, and they have laminated rosewood back and sides. It comes with a built-in pickup as well, but it doesn't have a preamp, so there's less adjustability, volume controls, that sort of thing, treble, bass, mid controls on the guitar itself. But as I said before, a lot of the magic in amplifying guitar has to come down the chain to the other equipment you have. So chances are, if you're doing it properly, you'll have a preamp down the chain anyway, or whoever's setting it up for you will have to have a proper preamp down the chain. It doesn't come with a hard case. It comes with a firm gig bag, which offers a little less protection than a hard case, but on the other hand, it's a much lighter case and has back straps, so it's a lot easier to carry around. I really do like these guitars. I think the materials, the quality materials and workmanship is a step up from the Chord MR710F, and they're certainly worth a check out if your budget can afford the slight price increase. I really do think that it's worth the price difference there. So do check these guitars out. So other essential items to get when picking up your first guitar, which I recommend students do, is first off, electronic clip-on tuner of some sort. Again, Music Junction has stock of this. Notably, there's a brand called Snark, which is quite a lot more accurate, a bit more expensive, but much more accurate than some of these cheaper ones. These clip-on tuners simply clip on the top of the guitar and help you tune it up. Other things to get are a gig bag if your guitar doesn't come with a gig bag already, so you got some protective cover to carry it around in. Heavy picks. If the guitar shop gives you a whole stack of picks that you can bend quite easily, floppy ones, throw them away or ask for heavy picks. You want heavy gauge picks when you're starting out, or at least I want students to have heavy gauge picks when they start out playing the guitar, at least 0.96 millimeter thick or thicker. Okay, you probably want to grab, if you can, a music stand of some sort, a sturdy one. Don't go cheap. This is a reasonably light one. You can get much heavier and sturdier ones than these, to put your music books and music sheets on in front of you so you can play with proper posture and without back pain. That's very important to get. And finally, the other thing you might want to get is a guitar stand. This is an A-frame stand. There are various styles of guitar stands you'll see down at the music shop. But the idea with a music stand is that you can then leave your guitar unpacked and ready to play at home whenever the mood strikes you. The more often you play, the better you're going to get. It's as simple as that. So there you have it. I hope this overview of beginner guitars has been useful to you. In short, my philosophy on purchasing a beginner guitar is to get a basic, affordable, but playable guitar just to get started. Then as you develop and you're able to start forming opinions on what you like and don't like by yourself, upgrade progressively. There's so many guitars available at every price point imaginable. We're so spoiled for choice nowadays. We may as well take advantage of that. Thank you again to Music Junction Camberwell for supplying all the guitars that I showed you today and for taking care of me and my students. Do be sure to check them out if you're looking to buy your first guitar, or your second, or your third, or your fourth, or whatever upgrade guitar you happen to be on. They've got quite a lot of range of stock on the guitar wall there for you to compare guitars and start learning about the differences between guitars and learning, more importantly, learning what you like and don't like about guitars. The link to their website will be in the description below. They've got a whole stock of other musical supplies as well, and pretty much everything you'll ever need. So till next time, bye.